Well, it is Saturday and we are just getting in the dinghy. We're gonna head into the marina and pick up our crew member, Lori. Let's hope the motor starts. After receiving an overwhelming amount of messages and holding video calls with a few people, we were excited to meet Lori and have her join us on board as crew for a couple of weeks.
We're about to come into the La Cruz Marina here. Hillary's going to bring us into the fuel dock. We're going to get a little bit of fuel. We put our jerry cans in this morning. We're going to top up our tanks before we head out of here. We also need to get some regular gasoline, which is what goes towards our two-stroke motor on our dinghy, as well as our dive compressor behind me here. Then this afternoon, we are going to head on out of here to Isabela and on our way to Magdalena.
We don't normally buy fuel from the fuel dock, as there's almost always an extra surcharge. However, with no gas station in the town of the Cruz, we decided to make the most of the convenience here.
20.
Gasolina y diesel.
Okay.
Alright guys, we're underway. We are heading out of Puerto Vallarta area for good. That's our plan. You'll see La Cruz, which is right over here. Anchorage, Marina. Got Sedna over here. They're going to head out with us to Isabel for a couple of days before we make our jaunt around Cabo and begin the nasty, terrible leg up to Magdalena Bay. It'll be exciting. We've got Lori on board as our crew member, our patron. Awesome. We're happy to have her along. It's going to be a fun time. Got a bit of breeze today. It's nice. Leaving Puerto Vallarta.
Yeah, sun just went down over the horizon, just past the Marietta Islands, and we're just rounding Punta Mita, leaving Banderas Bay.
We're heading south-ish via north.
Not south for quite a while. Headed back to Isla Isabel because we had such an awesome time there. We're hoping to see some baby boobies maybe.
I'm here because I saw a video online that said, come sail with us. So
Come
I
to
sent
Mexico.
An email. Come to Mexico and sail with us.
And you have a sailboat, right?
And I own a sailboat. Yeah.
Okay.
26 foot, none such.
But how was the first sunset anyway?
The first sunset was awesome.
First sunset underway, yeah. What's for dinner tonight?
Having some leftover chili for dinner. And I'm hungry. Let's eat.
An easy night, easy food tonight.
Yep.
And tomorrow we'll do some more. I'm hungry though, we haven't eaten much.
Sun just came up. A little bit chilly this morning and last night. Wind was fluky for a little bit last night, but overall we've had pretty good wind sailing all night. We're about 35 miles south of Isla Isabel, so we're keeping our fingers crossed that the wind keeps up today so we can get there and get in this afternoon, kind of early afternoon hopefully. Somewhere back behind us are our friends on SV Sedna, who also decided to head out to the island with us. We were checking in with each other throughout the night to check our position. Should be about 5 miles behind us. Looking forward to getting to the island. Well, we've had quite the eventful day so far.
When everything can go wrong, it does go wrong, all at once.
All at once, of course.
And we had engine trouble. Again, same persistent issue when we started up the engine. Lack of water coming out the exhaust. Some water, but they're not under load, and we're not quite sure. I know we've had people say before that it might be because of the choppy waters, and we had some pretty choppy swells as we came out of Banderas Bay, very steep waves and so on. Played with, what did we do? I don't know. Did the sea strainer, took the exhaust elbow off completely and checked that again. That's completely free. There's no obstructions in that there. And then took apart the whole wet exhaust lock thing. That looked fine as well, but put it back together and ran the engine and it seemed to run fine. So I don't know if it's just we're getting some sort of an airlock in that wet exhaust. I'll have to look into it more. But we ran it again after we took it all apart and it's running now. But we'll get a full test when we run under the motor, but we've got good wind right now, so we're sailing again. And while all that was going on, we had bread going that overproofed itself.
And then while all that was going on, we also hit a patch of a bunch of long line floats. So it's kind of like one of them had a big buoy on it. Most of them it's just like a little like water bottle floating on the water. A couple miles of line with a bunch of fishing hooks hanging off of them.
Speaking of, I see something.
We were able to go over them just fine. They slid right under the boat, but one of them hooked one of our fishing lines. Couldn't pull it in, so I hove-to. Lori got the line off and did a few tacks and got back to sailing.
It was an eventful morning. It was great.
A little bit of everything.
Yes.
First full day.
Oh.
How's it been?
It's been great. It's been very bashy, but it's
Very
been
bashy.
yeah.
It's been a long day of tacking and upwind sailing.
Yeah.
Whoa, over here behind me, back here is our friends on Sedna, Hans Christian. Beautiful boat, nice people. Cliff and Giselle. Giselle's got a podcast that's bloody awesome. Why We Spin Yarns, check it out. It's taken us a lot longer to get to Isabel than we had planned. Whoa! Of course, we expected it to be much. We're trying to go north with north winds coming down here. Still got a few more tacks to make tonight, and we're probably not going to get in till decently late. It'll be dark. The reason we're doing that is we're comfortable because we've been there before. We have a good track we can follow in on the east side with no real obstructions to avoid there, and we know where the good holding is. That's why we're going to do that. Been a good day.
It's been a long day of tacking, sailing upwind, pretty mixed choppy seas. It settled down quite a bit. It was quite choppy and even a bit confused earlier. But it's really settled down, so that's nice. It's like a nice sunset, and excited to get in and drop anchor at Isabel. So we believe the correct name of where we're going is Isla Isabel. I know we were calling it Isabela earlier, and I've actually seen it called Maria Isabelita somewhere in one of our guidebooks as well, but I believe the correct name is Isla Isabel.
We made it into Isla Isabel right around 10 o'clock last night. Early morning, I don't know, 2 a.m, 3 a.m, the wind really started to pick up out of the east actually and build the swells. So right now, it's not all that comfy. It's actually kind of choppy in here. Whoa, yeah, we're really getting some swells in this anchorage here.
With the conditions deteriorating, we pulled up anchor and headed out of the anchorage. And after just a few minutes, we had a fish on the line.
What you doing there, Hill?
Bringing in our fish we caught while motoring around the island.
Trying to find some nice quiet spot for this nasty-ish choppy weather, and I've got a fish, so there you go. Rewards.
Yes, top gills to cut. We've got giant Mr. Jack Crevalle, we think, here. Hooked him when we were sailing around to check out the anchorage on the west side of the island. Didn't really like the bottom. It looked like very rocky shelf and bouldery, so we didn't stay. It's heavy. big fish. So he's a good 15-20 pounds. So I'm gonna fillet him now as we drift around and wait for the weather to settle down.
We're laying here, hove to in the winds, staysail and a reefed main. The wind was reasonably strong out of the east today, probably up to in the 20s, low 20s. Thought we'd heave to out here until conditions calm. According to the grids, that's going to be in about 2 to 3 hours time. If that is accurate, then we'll go in and spend a day or so at Isabel. Our buddy boat here, SV Sedna, is probably a good 3 miles north of us, doing the same thing, just heaving to, sailing slowly, wait for some better weather. A little bit cloudy today, and a little bit of an unusual east breeze, so we'll see if that switches like they say.
Finally, with calmer weather, we made it back to the island. We headed ashore with our friends Cliff and Giselle to see what had changed since we last visited the island a month ago. Finding a fresh turtle carcass on the beach, we hoped that he had died of natural causes, not due to being caught in a net or consuming plastic. As we walked down the beach, we found that the frigate birds, who had all had their breeding colors on display attracting mates when we were here last, now had fluffy little chicks in nests. The blue-footed boobies, who had been doing their mating dances last month, were now all paired off, sitting on their own nests, waiting for the eggs to hatch.
We drop. Every week we drop crab pots, and once a week we then.
We were just walking up the beach here and saw a seagull run up and steal a booby egg. Ran up and snatched it right up from the nest and took it over here, and they devoured it in a few seconds. It's a pretty egg too. By far, the biggest change was that there is now a research team on the island. We learned that they were a group of university students from Mexico City, here to study the blue-footed boobies.
Over the decades, the population has looked to us to be pretty stable. Mm-hmm. And when we analyse things like the rates of mortality in the boobies, that's stable over time. Currently, they've got a big problem that snakes are eating their chicks.
Oh wow!
And that's because the population of milk snakes on the island has increased. We suspect it's related to the elimination of the exotic fauna, because there was a program about 8 years ago where they removed all the rats from the island. And there was another program about 15 years ago where we eliminated all the feral cats from the island, which were preying on the marine birds. So we're trying to do an experiment at the moment, which requires following the chicks through their development.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But during that early development, we're interested in how fast they grow and how symmetrical they are and their immune systems and so on. And last year we lost half of our subjects because the snakes were eating them. But a booby, if it sees the snake, it will grab it and toss it away.
Wow.
But under the low light conditions and because of the stealthy movement of a snake, the booby often just doesn't detect it.
Wow, that's crazy.
We'll walk back through the camp.
So this is the researchers' camp. When we were here a couple of weeks ago, there was nothing here. Now it's all tents and everyone's set up. Yeah, quite a setup. Wasn't here before. They've got like big food stores and chargers and everything. We ran into another Hugh Drummond. He's the researcher out here, leading the team. So he's out here for about 5 or 6 months. Is your name Hugh? Because every Hugh we've met has been pretty nice.
We have a little walking up the trail to the lake, and there's a frigate up here making a whole lot of noise. I don't know what she's doing.
Wings are out.
Wings are spread out, and she's just
I feel like
loud.
she's like not well or injured or
Maybe.
She's not happy, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Where are we heading now then?
Headed up to see if we can get to the lake.
We
Found a trail. Yeah, we ran into the researchers and had a really good chat with them about what they're doing, and they showed us the way to the lake.
Interesting.
Oh, look at that.
This guy with his wings out and his big red throat puffed up. I think that's his mating dance, right?
Made it up to the lake. Lago Crater Lake is that way. And Las Moñas, the rocks where we anchored, are the other direction. So we're here.
Coming out on the south side of the island here, there's an anchorage out here which we haven't been to yet. It's not the best anchorage from what we hear. It's quite a deep anchorage. It's also very rocky and quite an easy spot to foul your anchor. We've stayed on the east side. We just walked over here through the crater, past the crater, the lake, Crater Lake. We're gonna go check this south side out real quick. I hear ocean.
¿Cuánto tiempo en Sandra?
2 horas y media, 3.
Bueno, a veces mucho, mucho horas. Hoy es mucho más tranquila. That's all for this time. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on our next episodes. And don't forget to give us a thumbs up and leave a comment below. Until next time, adios.
How do I look this like this?
No, put your lips together. Yeah, that's good.
When ahoy!
Hola!
Hola. Buenos dias.
Oh my god, I think I just saw the Black Pearl! It's a pirate ship! That's for you, Sienna.